Chapter 7. The Shadows. Close. In Kaelith's meditation chamber aboard the Dark Reaver was filled with the hum of crimson crystals suspended in the air around her. Their glow illuminated her sharp features, and the fire in her amber eyes reflected the turmoil within her. Her master, Darth Malvaris, had been defeated by Dax Solus, a Mandalorian wielding the Force as a weapon, unbound by Sith or Jedi constraints. For months she had tracked him, piecing together his trail across the galaxy, driven by a singular purpose: vengeance. Reports from Jakor Prime had confirmed his presence, but by the time her agents arrived, Dax was gone. Still, the battle scars he left behind painted a vivid picture. Kaelith clenched her fists, her anger radiating like heat. "You can't run forever, Solus," she muttered. "You're not the only shadow in this galaxy." Her hollow communicator chimed, displaying the image of an Imperial officer. "My lord," the officer began nervously, "we've intercepted a communique from Jakor Prime. It appears your target has aligned with a slicer named Voss and a Wike mercenary." Kaelith smirked. "Allies? That will only make them easier to find." "Continue tracking them," she ordered, "and inform the bounty guilds. I want them pursued on every system." A new target. Dax and his crew had relocated to a remote station on the edge of the Outer Rim to lay low. Kira, ever resourceful, was busy splicing into the Veiled Blades network to monitor for Syndicate retaliation. Tovak, still nursing his injuries, leaned against a bulkhead, his massive frame dominating the small space. Dax sat at the central table, helmet off, studying a projection of the station's schematics. His crimson lightsaber hilt rested beside him, a stark reminder of his precarious place in the galaxy. The quiet moment was shattered by Kira's voice. We've got a problem," she said, swiveling her chair to face them. "Someone's put a massive bounty on all our heads. And I mean massive." Tovak groaned. "I told you we should have charged more for that last job." "Who?" Dax asked, his voice calm but tense. Kira tapped a few keys, pulling up a hollow image of Kaelith. "Her name's Kaelith. She's Sith. Ring any bells?" Dax's jaw tightened. "She's the apprentice of a Sith Lord I killed." Kira raised an eyebrow. "You left a Sith apprentice alive? You do know they're not exactly forgiving types, right?" "It wasn't her time," Dax replied, his tone curt. "Well, it's her time now," Kira shot back. "And ours, if we don't move fast." Before Dax could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Tovak grabbed his cannon, already moving toward the door. "Looks like they found us." The ambush. The docking bay was chaos. A mix of bounty hunters and Kaelith's Sith troopers swarmed the area, their weapons blazing. Dax led the charge, his lightsaber igniting with a menacing hum. He moved like a storm, deflecting blaster bolts and cutting down enemies with surgical precision. Tovak covered his flank, his cannon laying waste to clusters of attackers, while Kira worked to disable the station's automated defenses, which had been turned against them. But the battle wasn't just about survival. It was a test of their unity. "Left side!" Tovak bellowed, blasting a group of bounty hunters trying to flank them. "I see it!" Dax replied, the Force amplifying his speed as he intercepted the attack. Kira cursed under her breath as she spliced into the system. "Dax, I need another minute." "We don't have a minute," he shot back, slicing through a pair of troopers. "Tovak, cover her." Tovak nodded, stepping in front of Kira like a living shield. Blaster bolts ricocheted off his armor as he returned fire, holding the line with sheer determination. As the last of the bounty hunters fell, a chilling presence filled the bay. The air seemed to grow heavier, colder. Dax turned to see Kaelith standing at the entrance, her double-bladed lightsaber ignited. Her yellow eyes locked onto him, and a cruel smile curved her lips. "Solus," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "You've made this far too easy." Kaelith lunged, her twin blades spinning in a deadly arc. Dax met her strike, their sabers clashing in a shower of sparks. The two warriors moved with lethal precision, their movements a blur of crimson and red. Kaelith's fury was palpable, each strike fueled by her thirst for vengeance. But Dax's calm, disciplined style countered her raw aggression. "I spared you once," Dax said, parrying a vicious strike. You should have stayed hidden. I'm not the same weakling you spared, Kaelith snarled, her blades whirling faster. And this time, you won't escape. The duel raged across the docking bay, their combat tearing through crates and terminals. Meanwhile, Kira and Tovak worked to secure their escape, firing at Kaelith's reinforcements while scrambling to activate their ship. Dax, we've got the ship ready, Kira shouted. I'll hold her off, Dax yelled back, deflecting another strike. Get to the ship! But Tovak shook his head. Not leaving you behind, boss. The battle reached its crescendo as Dax used the Force to hurl Kaelith backward, buying a few precious moments. He retreated toward the ship, his allies covering him as Kaelith's troopers poured into the bay. You can't run from me forever, Kaelith screamed, her voice echoing as the ship's ramp closed. As the ship rocketed away from the station, Kira let out a long breath. Okay, that was officially the worst job ever. Tovak grinned despite his wounds. Admit it. You love this. Dax, still catching his breath, leaned against the bulkhead. He looked at Kira and Tovak, his usual stoicism softening. We survived because of you two. I don't say this often, but... Thanks. Kira smirked. Don't get all sentimental on us now. We've got a Sith psycho on our tail. Dax's gaze hardened. Kaelith won't stop. She's coming for all of us. Then we make a stand, Tovak said, his tone resolute. Together. For the first time since his exile, Dax felt something he hadn't in years. Trust. In the face of Kaelith's relentless pursuit, his allies weren't just mercenaries, they were his clan, and together, they would face whatever the galaxy threw at them.